Should be.
Yep, we should be live on both now.
Mhm.
All righty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to an incredibly special, awesome episode of Star Wars Rebels Revisited with our very, very special guest, the Space Mom herself, Vanessa Marshall. Welcome, Vanessa.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. When we started the show, let's do introductions real quick. So we've got Ashley and Jamie, my co-host. You and I go way back. I'm gonna let them say hi.
Hi, Vanessa. It's so great to have you on our show this week, and thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you.
Absolutely. Yeah, total like pinch me moment. I can't believe we're all talking together. This is amazing.
And we have a stack of questions, don't you worry. So
okay, terrific.
we had Taylor Gray on a few weeks ago, and he was like, "How are we going to fill an hour time?" I was like, "Girl, don't you worry. Like the community loves Rebels. They're tuning in every Monday night to talk about a show that was on, that went off the air 5 years ago, and yet it's more relevant than ever. So it's a great time to be a Rebels fan.
Indeed, always."
So Ashley, I know you want to get started, so jump right in and ask Vanessa whatever your heart's content.
Okay. So my first question is, how did you get the role of Hera? And did you know it was for Star Wars with that level of secrecy?
I actually had no idea the project was called Wolf, and apologies to people who've heard this 1,000 times. It was a piece of audition copy that was for a Wolf show. And I had no idea, but everything is a Star Wars metaphor that I am aware of. Like everything I see is like, oh, that's, this and that with the Jedi. And, so I. Analysis, they tell me else, and I was like, this is so similar. I'm just going to make it my own in the world of Star Wars as a fan. And it turned out to be dead on. And I got a call back, and I walked in, and there was Dave Filoni in his hat. I about died, and I was professional, and I did the call back. And I remember I saved the parking pass because I was like, this is as good as my life will ever get. This is as close as I had no idea. And I guess it was between me and two other women. And I'm just, when I got the call that I got the part, and I started crying, and my agent didn't know if I needed medical attention because I was just like, and I fell to the floor and was just so, I didn't know that, look, adulting is a struggle at times, right? So you get to college, I went to graduate school, and there's that like rough period where you go from being, a juvenile to adulthood and and whatever else. Am I freezing? Hopefully not.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought you guys froze for a sec. Sorry.
Popping in a little. It's okay.
I'm not sure what that is. But my point is that there have been dark times, and I think we've all gone through them in the pandemic. But when I got this role, what it taught me was to never give up and to always wait for the miracle. And no matter what depression, no matter what, challenges life brings, you just literally never know what amazing thing could be around the corner. So I share that with anyone who might be struggling with growing into adulthood, that it is a difficult transition, but it's worth it because you never know where life can take you, and it's worth it to hang in there. So anyway, that's my message of hope.
Love it.
I love that. I think we all need that right now more than ever too. Someone used the phrase post-pandemic the other day. I was like, girl, we're still in it. As much as we want to feel like we're on the other side of it, it's still going. And we all know, like 2019, 20, 21, 22, the many things that changed and didn't happen. We are starting to get back to like some semblance of normal. And I know you're out on the road. Tell us about your upcoming appearances, because this is very exciting for anyone who hasn't been to a convention in a while. You are gigging.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm doing the Nashville Comic-Con, ICC. It's all on my social media. You can find all the information there. That's sort of a Rebels reunion. Unfortunately, Freddie is filming a movie and he won't be able to join us as planned. But I'm going with Taylor, Tia, Steve Bloom, Mary Elizabeth, and I think there are other sort of Star Wars folks that are there, but specifically it's kind of a Rebels reunion in and of itself. And I'm so grateful to be doing that. And that's going to be a magical weekend. That's Memorial Day weekend. And then July 15th, I'm doing something here in Los Angeles for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. I got all the voiceover folks together that are in the game.
Oh,
and
cool.
on Saturday, July 15th, we're all going to meet down at the Hill. And we will be raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project. And we have an ambassador for that coming to the event. And they've created a book of fan art that all the actors are going to sign, and they're going to auction that off and give the proceeds to the Wounded Warrior Project. And I'm going to be live streaming, playing on a PS3.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to be playing Olga and Dr. Strangelove. And I think that's on a different console. But the point is that the actors, if like for Dr. Strangelove, if you wanted to play the boss, my lover, you know, that you could play a game with us there. There's also virtual participation. There are tickets available. There's going to be panels and there's surprises with even bigger names that are going to show up. So if you're a Metal Gear fan, it's really going to be a very special day. And I think they're working on getting an alcohol sponsor so that there's a VIP cocktail party portion of it where you can sort of rub elbows with your favorite voice actors from the franchise. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's just what I love about it is after the pandemic, if I can say that, again, it's debatable whether it's post-pandemic, but after the severe isolation, I am so committed to having fun and doing it for a good cause. And when those things can come together, I love tag Star Wars family for life, passion of the Metal Gear Solid fans. And I'm hoping Amanda Bryan is the woman who put this whole thing together. I'm hoping that she does this for other franchises as well, for Fortnite, Overwatch, Uncharted, Zelda, some of the more sort of contemporary games. And what's cool about it is that I just started my own Twitch channel, which is the same handle as my Instagram. And so I'm sort of immersing myself in the world of esports and getting into all this stuff with this spirit of fun and a deep for other people. The love that I found, and it's just, how could I not, be attracted to it and explore more of it? I realize some of these games are slightly violent, so not so much with that part of it, but I do love. I think we all need to embrace the spirit of play after being so dark and so serious and so alone for so long. That it's lovely to gather. It's almost like a mini Star Wars celebration, except it's the Metal Gear franchise. And I hope to work with her. And I love that I'm able to host and play online, live stream, and have more interaction with the fans and be present and just hug everybody. So I think it's
the location again.
Sorry?
What was the location again?
Well, if you go online, it's mgscon.com, and it's at the Hilton near LAX, July 15th.
Oh, cool.
And on social media, it's at Con on both Instagram and Twitter. You can get more information and buy tickets there virtually, and a portion of the ticket cost will go toward the Wounded Warrior Project. So it's awesome. All for a good cause for people who've made the ultimate sacrifice, and they deserve to be supported and thanked for that. So
absolutely.
So
my husband's probably downstairs booking a ticket right now. He's like, "What Metal Gear Solid?"
Oh,
he's watching right now, so he's probably like, "Oh wait, let me see."
Yeah. Well, we were a pretty tight-knit family. I mean, I felt that way about Star Wars. I also felt that way about Spectacular Spider-Man. I also felt that way about Young Justice. And it's interesting that Greg Weisman amazing writer is sort of attached to each of those projects that are so near and dear to me. With the Young Justice fans are amazing. I've made friends for life. My friend Karume, actually, well, I think we met at WonderCon. There was a Young Justice meetup. We have all these things where the voice actors in the show meet up. Thomas Dreyfus, if you're listening, I love you. I hope you're well. There are all these quote unquote fans, but they've become family. And it's just wonderful to have access to that sort of instant connection and enthusiasm. So yeah, hopefully your husband will be there. That'll be great. But
listen, we're in Orlando, Vanessa.
come on down. Yeah, well, you can participate virtually if you're not in Los Angeles. Yeah, the panel's going to be really cool. There are bands that are set to play. Like there's Artist Alley with all the artists who have sort of fan art there, and there's the Kojima Frequency doing a show, and you need, but it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited.
So you're such a prolific voice in so many things, Vanessa, like as you just said, right? Metal Gear Solid and Young Justice and of course Star Wars. How do you channel such different emotion and personality into each of these characters that you present? Because I know, as a diehard Star Wars Rebels fan, Vanessa, I literally named my child Sabine. Like that's where I'm at.
God, you're so awesome.
There's a long story that goes with that, but my child's name is literally Sabine because it was such a prolific part of my life. Please do, because we are desperate to see you, and I am desperate to introduce her to you guys. But I digress. It's your voice is literally just, you are Hera to so many people. So how do you make that voice different from any of your other roles?
Well, that's a really great question, and I have a few thoughts that come to mind. I have always communicated with other people, one might say, doing voices. Like, for example, my mother says, "I can't drink that coffee. Oh God, it's not piping hot." And like, I know you could grasp it if I told you she was on a soap opera for 13 years, not saying anything else. And so everything that comes out of her mouth is like really jazz hands and really gold looking and really over the top, where you want to just go and scene when she and so like I would say that, for example, in therapy, and my therapist would say, you don't have to do voices here, Vanessa. Like I'm putting on a show for her. And I was like, no. I'm trying to make you feel what it's like to listen to someone who thinks piping hot coffee is that vital to their existence. If I just told you that, I don't think it's as convincing as, oh God, and so I've been communicating that way ever since I was a kid. And I'm not trying to mock people or mimic people or be like a schmacker who's gonna just take any opportunity to I
know those people.
No, well, you're just like, dude, please, I don't want to see it, just stop. And I'm not trying to bore people either. It's just how I have always communicated. It's how I tell stories. When I would do stand-up comedy, I would imitate, that's just the way I think and the way I act. And so the other thing that is sort of at my core is that I love stories. I love storytelling. I was an only child. The particular space opera that is Star Wars spoke so deeply to my heart that when that grabbed hold of me, when the first film came out, I thought about everything in terms of that. Well, what would Princess Leia do? And so the story is the thing. And then I got a master's degree in acting from NYU. And in that world, it is the actor's job not to be an egotistical jerk who's like, look at me. But an actor's job is to be like a shaman or a Shaw person and have the humility to vacate their ego and be so vulnerable and authentic.
Yes.
Tell the playwright story. It's got nothing to do with us. We are here to lift up those words. So I come from a background of wanting to tell stories, of wanting to be of service to the narrative, and deeply caring about those things. So much so that I almost majored in anthropology at Princeton because I wanted to compare the sacredness of theater, level of religious experiences, that the Voodoo rituals are very theatrical and yet they're very sacred. And you know, we go back into Greek history, and of course Joseph Campbell with the hero's journey and all that stuff. That there's something
in my heart.
That, yeah, there's something very healing about us all coming together, whether it's in a movie theater. You know, we used to do sort of, you know, theater in the round or around the fire, the storytelling, whatever that is. When we come together, we bring all our broken toys into the same room and we heal together, whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the Star Wars movies did for me. And so whether I'm doing a 30-second commercial or I'm doing a half-hour episode of whatever it is, if it's a commercial, I research the product, I research the stock market, I research their competition, they need for their story to stand out, and then I try to serve that. And if it's a narrative like the Wolf audition, for example, it spoke to me, and I plugged in variables in my own life that I care deeply about. And oops.
Sorry.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
Okay, no worries. Anyway, but that's sort of how I approach things. And with that deep level of caring and also the desire to be useful. So when all of those things are going, I'm not thinking about how do I sound differently. Hera leads with her heart. Gamora leads more with her lower chakras, and her thoughts are different. Her seeking redemption is different to Hera's trying to put a fine point on what her father was seeking to do. You know, he wanted to do it in Ryloth. She wanted to take it throughout the galaxy. You know, there are different things that motivate these characters that help them originate in different places in me. You know, being the voice of Wonder Woman, you know, I like I said, I care about a lot of causes, and I give to a lot of causes. I'm not like trying to virtue signal or anything, but I understand a woman who stands for those who are marginalized. Like I care about that. And that's not put on. I'm a martial artist, and I was 50 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I started doing martial arts and lost my plus size modeling career at the same time. But I lost the 50 pounds and through self-acceptance and self-love, you know, I don't know which is better or worse, neither, you know, heavy or thin. But I have had my own journey of self-empowerment and becoming sized and autonomous and able to advocate for myself and find my voice, that when I step up to a microphone, I think those different parts of me are awakened to serve that narrative. So I've done a lot of work on myself to be as clear a channel for whichever narrative it is. And I humbly offer myself to that cause and then go home and hope I did okay.
I'm like right back in theater school right now. Like I could literally listen to this like all day. Like I'm like right back in my college like theater school right now. This is incredible. So with that in mind, and I'm sorry, I'm like very in over my head right now because this is so fascinating to me. Are there lines or scenes or episodes that you can really remember with Hera that struck an emotional chord, that maybe required approaching a couple of different ways, lines that maybe you said one way and then said, you know what, let me try it a different way and let's do another take to maybe do a different approach? Did your perception of a scene change in the moment? Because it does sound like you are, as a voice actor, performing the same way that a live theater actor is performing, responding to everything going on around them.
Yes, there were separate incidents like that where we tried many different ways. One in particular, when Hera sees her father for the first time in a long time, and she ends up speaking to him with a native accent.
Yeah.
And we had done the scene several different ways. And about a month before, Dave Filoni texted me and said, hey, do you think she would ever speak with a Ryloth accent? And I said, only if she was angry. you know, because I have friends, you know, who are, say, from Texas or Georgia or somewhere, and they're just so used to speaking in more sort of a neutral American accent in New York or in LA. But when their mom calls and nags them about something, they immediately go right back to like, well, I don't even know what the, you know.
That's my husband from Knoxville. It happens.
It
I
happens.
see it.
And
Yeah.
it's just, it's like one gets triggered and one goes to like old school.
Mhm.
So true. So true.
And so Filoni said, hey, remember that text conversation? I said, yeah. And he said, why don't you try it that way? So we did. And that's what they ended up using.
I love it.
Who knew? I mean, I
feel seen as an angry person who has an accent. I feel seen.
Hey, cool.
I'm so glad you mentioned the character of your dad too, because I find that we always view Hera as the mom and the one who takes care of everyone else. So to see where she came from added a lot of layer and depth to that. And then you got to show us the prequel version of that in the Bad Batch. So one, we were thrilled to see you. That was a welcome surprise.
Yeah.
My question around that is, how did you find out about the casting for the Bad Batch, and how did that all come to be? And were you expecting it? I know I was very surprised in the best possible way.
Yeah, I got an email saying, do you think you could play Hera as a young child, or, you know, as an 11-year-old version of himself? I said, oh, I'd love to try. And they said, great, we'll link up with you. It was all done virtually because we were in the pandemic. And it was so fun to find the voice, because too much of the accent was, you couldn't understand what I was saying. I speak French, so the Ryloth accent is very similar to a French accent, but we played with how young and how much of an accent, and we recorded it once again many different ways. Much younger, more aggressive, tough. The most interesting jumping off point, where look at the Hera that we've known and see, wow, you know, she was at one point so vulnerable. She was so curious. She was so hopeful that she might be able to do these things. And, you know, how much softness, like, but we, you know, she still needed to be strong in that you had to believe that, you know, her journey would land where, you know, we know her to be. So anyway, it was fun to discover it, and I did not expect it at all. And it was a delight. That was the village elder in the shorts that came out, I believe, last year.
Tales of the Jedi,
Tales of the Jedi. Filoni texted me, he's like, hey, I got this thing, do you want to play an elder? I was like, please, all day, dude, let's go. So it was fun. Love me some Count Dooku.
So, and that was honestly one of my favorite episodes, so that was great.
Yay.
What's your favorite place where you've seen Hera show back up? Because, you know, the show's been off the air for a little bit now, but Hera certainly isn't gone. We've seen her in the Alphabet Squadron, and we've seen her in Squadrons, and we've seen her in Bad Batch and a couple other places. Where are you most excited to see her show back up?
Well, in Ahsoka, for sure. I mean,
hey,
yeah, I can't wait. Are you kidding? Absolutely. I was so thrilled. I mean, they called to give me a heads up, you know, that was occurring. And we weren't sure if the Rebels actors were going to translate. And I don't know what the variables are. I don't know how old she is at that point in the narrative. I don't know. You know, we were all honored to be able to make characters that were so powerful that they would even translate to live action. And I know Tia and Taylor have extensive careers on camera. I have chosen to focus more on voiceover. I have the ability to do on camera. I act in my friends' independent films and stuff like that. And I'm pitching a TV show right now, which is on hold due to the writer's strike, but I will most likely act in that if it is greenlit whenever this ends. So it's not that I'm opposed to being on camera, but I could see how they would perhaps prefer to work with someone who has more experience. But I can't tell you, I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead so much.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Well, when they told me that that's who it was, I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Because
that was all of us too. If it wasn't you, we were so glad it was her.
Well, because her husband's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm guessing she's familiar with the franchise. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they had picked, and not that they would ever do this, but like someone who doesn't care. Do you know what I'm saying? Someone who
That's terrifying as a fan. That's terrifying as a fan.
Like, it would just be a job. It isn't just a job. This is important. I don't know. It's so, when I found out that she was doing it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait. I want to find out what's up with the Jason. Come on, dude. Seriously. She had an option. Let's get into it. Let's chop it up. I want to know, does he have Jedi sensibilities? Like, let me know, where the heck did Ezra go? Where's Ezra? I need to know. I'm, as a fan, I'm just so thrilled that we're going to have so many more questions answered. And don't get me wrong.
I mean, are they going to get answered, or are we just going to keep asking them? That's the real question.
Well, Vanessa just answered 6 of my questions, so I'm good.
Well, that too. Yeah, we've got.
I actually have no idea. I don't know what we're going to see. I'm telling you what I want to know. So I really have no idea. I have had nothing to do with any of it. So I don't mean to mislead you, and please don't quote me as saying that. No.
We would never.
Look, I'm a licensee and I know nothing. And that's been a consistent thread of my entire time, being on this YouTube show. Even when I was at Tops, they would only tell us like the tiniest bit what we needed to know. So when I watched the finale, I was flabbergasted that Hera had a child.
Me too.
I was gonna say, you didn't know, right? Yeah.
Nope.
Little green force baby. So cute.
Yeah.
No clue. And I remember I was so hungry at that point in the screening that I was eating a protein bar, and they had like the night vision cameras to get everyone's reactions. And I believe there's a GIF or a GIF or somewhere, and people can tweet about that later, but there's a GIF of me like eating a protein bar going.
It exists. I've seen it, Vanessa. It exists.
It's amazing.
Hera learned that she was with child. I'm like, my finest moment. Well, anyway, well, hopefully we find out everything. I'm so curious. Yeah.
I think we all feel that same way, and we're sort of hoping that the Ahsoka show really is a Rebels season 5. We've been willing it over here. We've been pushing into the Force daily, weekly. We make a little chant at the start of our show. Here we go. We're in the countdown mode, so we're spending our summer. We're going to be watching all the Ahsoka related episodes, getting ready for the show, and anything like. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun time. Awesome. There's so many things happening in the fandom, right? We've got these live action shows. The video game just came out for Jedi Survivor, which is the sequel to Fallen Order. There's a million things. And I know you're all over the place too. So remind everyone of some of your other credits within Star Wars, because you're in the games, the this, the that. Like, can you do a quick hit list for everyone? Because I know you play more than just Hera too.
Yes. In the Bad Batch, of course, I was Hera as a small child. In the Clone Wars, the final season, I played Rook Cast, who is a Mandalorian, and she's Darth Maul's minion. I was in several video games, Jan Orr's, I believe in Jedi Knights, is that it? And then there are a couple other Knights of the Republic. There's I have to Google it. I have to look it up on IMDb, but there are several games. I think I'm Bella Quicks, who is a Jedi in another one of the games. I've been in several of their video games. And then of course I played Hera Syndulla in the most recent EA Star Wars game, Squadrons, that came out. That was so much fun. I got to do mocap, and
it was so good. So good.
It's really fun in VR too. It is really fun in VR. I get very nauseous, but it is worth it every time.
Jamie's our gamer, and
that's being polite.
I mean, out of the
selective gamer.
Yeah. Ashley's the artist. She's actually the one who drew the picture that's over here.
Incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love that. Love that.
We'll get you a print, don't you worry. She's doing the con scene as well this summer. So she's at Fan Expo Boston and working the tables and stuff. And I'm still gigging in the license space, like making helmets and stuff now. So we've got a lot of collective Star Wars geekiness on the screen.
We do.
Awesome. Yeah, I was hoping that they would have more Rook cast stuff around, but it looks like there's a Funko Pop that was made that is a Mandalorian something that one could construe as Rook cast, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a new Hera coming. There's a new Hera and an X-Wing
yes,
coming.
there is. I think
Yeah.
So cute.
That's very
an
cute.
X-Wing, right?
Yeah, coming in
Well,
September. Fastest pre-order I did on May the 4th. I was like, mine.
Agreed.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, Rebels needs a little re-injection of merchandise, that's for sure. In fact, so much so that we were asking people to send us stuff, and one of our watchers, Sherry, sent us this this our note. She sent this sticker book. So we're collecting everything we can. We're trying to find everything from Rebels that's
Brilliant.
out there. We're like searching on eBay, and we're like, well, we need more new stuff for sure.
I'm with it.
Yeah,
Trying to see if I have
definitely.
anything fun behind me, and I don't. I mean, I do, but yeah.
I have this little bust that I had you sign for me at Celebration Chicago.
Oh my gosh. So we've met before. That's
yes.
awesome.
It was probably one of the coolest things I've ever gotten, and I am there we go. So grateful. But yeah, it's probably the coolest thing I own.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have let's see, Karume. I don't know if
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Cool.
you can see that.
Oh,
Yeah, my friend Karume sent me this.
We're
That's
so
twins.
cool.
I have
Yeah,
to
we've got
unbox
those
mine.
too.
Yeah.
So essentially what happens, Vanessa, is anytime something Rebels related comes out, we're all in this group chat and like we get these texts at like 3:00 in the morning, be like, oh my gosh, did you see? Which is actually what happened with The Mandalorian with Steve as Zeb.
Right. Oh my gosh.
This
You should have heard
one-
dude, I screamed so loudly.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And I'm
Ashley.
sure my neighbors must have thought like, oh,
Oh,
Sent the group text at like 3 a.m. She's like, get off the internet immediately. Get off the internet and stay off the internet until you can watch The
she won the lottery
Mandalorian.
or something. I was so happy. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And Gentle Giant sent me a couple of them as well.
Oh.
I signed them. For them. They're going to do some fan giveaways, and I might be signing for them at San Diego Comic-Con.
oh, that's
possibly.
great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, maybe at New York Comic-Con as well. We're trying to work it out.
I love that. I love the booth signings and all that. You know, that was my thing for the longest. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, so
Oh
if
my
we're there,
gosh.
we'll have to
We
say hello.
must. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at the moment I'm there Saturday, but I might be doing a panel for something on Friday.
Oh, terrific.
A video
So
game
cool.
coming out.
We're gonna try to do a whole meetup with like everyone from the VCN. Trying to, since you know our group really started as like a celebration
Yeah.
fan meetup. Like, you know, we have 59-ish thousand
do it.
members now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
We hit it officially.
go party. But yeah, and when we don't have celebration, we've got to find like the other things, right?
Yes.
The San Diego Comic Cons, the New York Comic Cons. There's actually going to be quite a number of people going to ICCC. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be
Wow.
there because I'm already going to be out of town. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
But we're sending ambassadors, and they're gonna come swarm your tables. So
Great. I
there will be
can't
people
wait.
from
Tell
the
them
crew.
to come on
Yeah.
through. I cannot
Yeah.
wait. I'm so
Y'all
excited.
should- I don't know.
Yeah, there's a
just
few
do
people in the
review
chat saying they have
announcements.
posters ready for cast signings and stuff. So yeah,
Terrific.
exciting.
Yeah.
Alas, some of us are stuck here in the swamp.
Hmm.
I do have a question from the chat. This one goes way back now, and by way back, like 7 years at this point, maybe. No, when was Rogue One? Rogue One was 2017, 6 years.
2016.
So when you heard General Syndulla over the loudspeaker, did you know that was happening? What were your
No.
thoughts? Did you scream?
Well, David Collins, who's one of the coolest guys ever, as I was walking into the theater, he's like, oh, by the way, I paid you in the movie. And I was like, oh, whatever. Thanks, buddy. You know, I'm like, I paid you too. You know, I didn't know. I was
Sorry.
like, what? Didn't know what he was talking about. I kind of greeted him with like, really? And I'm sitting there and I hear his ADR and I'm going, he wasn't kidding. What? and Andrew Kishino was sitting next to me, alias Saw Gerrera from the Clone
Yeah.
Wars. Friendly divorce, my ex-husband. I love him dearly. He's like my best
Oh,
friend.
yay.
Yeah, totally. Are you kidding me? And I remember when he got Saw Gerrera, I was like, oh my God, you know.
Your life will change forever.
I know. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna marry Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
Like
Hera and Saw Gerrera. That's a team.
That's
up.
a weird.
I mean,
there's a ship somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's a ship.
Bro, I'm not sure, but all I know is I turned to him and I punched him, and he punched my arm. And he was like,
Hera Guerrera.
Yeah.
And then we both realized, like, you're in a, so I had to like maintain. I was like, oh yeah, well, took it down a notch, but yeah, no idea that was going to happen. And
amazing.
He lost it. I was like, did you hear that?
Well, and then the ghost is in the battle too. So I mean,
I know, like, but I just didn't put it. I just did not expect that. I just didn't.
No. For a fan though, it's such a comfort because like you always worry about your favorite characters, right? Like, if you don't hear from them, like, are they still around? Did something happen? Are they with us? Are they not? So my knee-jerk reaction, because I cried all of Rogue One because I'm a crier, was Hera's still alive and Chopper's okay and the ghost is still flying. And it was just a really like just such a sigh of relief that Hera and
absolutely
Chopper and the ghosts were okay.
Like seeing Chopper wheel by in the corner was just like, yes, and then hearing that, like, it made me so happy. It's like everybody's okay. Life goes on, and
same.
So, Star Wars is such a, like, I don't know, because we're talking about like Saw Gerrera and some of these just really unique names and words and phrases that come up in Star Wars. Like, I know Dank Farrik is now this big thing again because of The Mandalorian. When you're recording lines as Hera or in any of your Star Wars experience, are there any words or names or planets or anything that come up that you're like, I don't know how to say this word?
Well, at first Melu Run,
Thank you.
We were like, wait, come again? What is this? Melu Run. And then of course the ever-present battle of Twi'lek versus Twi'lek. And I say Twi'lek, and I was like, that's just how I've always heard it. And I'm sure you've heard George Lucas said that it depends on where you're from.
Yeah, Han or Han.
It's true.
Some people say Twi'lek, some people say Twi'lek, and both are correct depending on where you're from. So
it came straight from Vanessa, so we're good.
Yeah. We've got audio proof for everyone out there in the internet who wants to get mad for no reason. No, it's funny. The Melu Run came up when we were talking with Taylor Gray. I think he said the same thing. That was a struggle for everyone. So that's in my ear. I'm pretty sure that's what Taylor said.
And once we got it, we were like, oh, okay.
I still can't say it. I have to look at it and like separate it like by syllable, and only then can I.
Phonetically.
Yeah, it's really bad. Well, because when you read things, right? Like I read so many Star Wars books, and I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense in my head, but if you ask me to ever repeat it out and like say it, it's going to be a totally different word.
Yeah, I mean, what words have been difficult for you?
See, now I'm going to have to like really think about it. It's Melu Run, but like I have to actually like think about it in my head before I say it, because that's never going to roll off the tongue for me. And there are a couple planets as well that I'm sure like some of them are like really straightforward. Like I probably wouldn't struggle with like Ryloth or Lothal, but then I've heard people say
Wincantu.
Yes, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And even creatures, like there are some, Sabine and I are watching Young Jedi Adventures right now, which we are absolutely in love with, and they keep introducing all these new creatures, and I'm like, I don't know how to say this word.
Yeah.
So she's gonna ask one day and be like, Mommy doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, again, I think there's some wiggle room.
Yeah,
I guess it's so long as it's consistent. Yeah.
And it's true in all parts of Star Wars, right? We kind of interpret, what we want out of, like, we get what we want out of it. One of the purposes of our show is we've been going back and rewatching the episodes, and we've been sort of extracting how it connects to what's going on in like the current streams, like the Andor show, and getting ready for Ahsoka and everything. And Rebels it's never bled more into the rest of Star Wars. It's finally getting its roses after all of this time. So as you're watching all the new stuff like Obi-Wan, by the way, in Obi-Wan, do you think that how much did they steal from Rebels? Are you excited to see like the Rebel stuff sort of pop into like Andor and Obi-Wan and everything?
Oh, Andor was just breathtaking from beginning to end. It
really was.
Chef's kiss. Loved it. Loved it. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I'm on nextdoor.com, and there are these 3 kittens named Obi-Wan, Hera, and Chopper.
I'll take all 3.
to rescue. And I was like, if there has ever been destiny on nextdoor.com, these are my cats.
Right.
And I hit this girl up and I was like, listen, I don't think you understand, dude. Or actually, one of them. I'm trying to, well, either way, I was like, turns out she was a set director on Obi-Wan.
Wow.
Yeah, these cats were on set. And it ended up, someone else ended up adopting them. But
oh my gosh.
I mean, talk about a small world.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? Hi, this is my cat. This is Tara, this is Chopper, this is Chewbacca. What?
Listen, I think inviting a cat named Chopper into your house is really inviting like a level of terror that I don't think any of us are ready for.
He has to be orange. Orange cats always cause the most trouble.
So yeah. But that was my sort of tangential brush with Obi-Wan. But yes, I do love seeing the Rebel stuff. I loved seeing in the episode 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago of The Mandalorian. That was just epic.
Yeah, it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't that long. It was like right smack in the middle, I think, with Zeb, right? For Mando? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was, Ashley really saved the day on that one, telling us not to go online because it was spoiled so fast. And
I know.
Video, ugly crying video of me.
I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna wake up early for that. I don't stay up because I'm on the East Coast. So 3 a.m. just isn't feasible, but I'll wake up early before work. But you have to know to not open Twitter because you'll accidentally see what's trending. And it would have been Steve Bloom. And I was like, well, damn it. I mean, well, also congrats and how exciting. But also like, stop ruining this. Stop ruining it, Twitter.
Yeah.
That was probably like the between that and seeing the Purgles and stuff show up in Rebels, it just, it just gives me hope for the future of the franchise, and the Star Wars is a greater thing, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for the rest of it. We get to see the Ghost fam in mourning after the events of Jedi Knight. Were you guys notified of the story before it happened, and did Dave pull you guys aside and just explain things to you, or was it just thrown at you like us?
No clue.
Oh,
that's
no.
rough.
No preparation time then for like Freddie then sort of exiting the show.
Oh, for that. Yeah. Well, he sat us all down as he did before most records to sort of like huddle us up, kind of like a hockey team, okay, guys, this game is blah, 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 whatever. And but this one, like Freddie wasn't there. And he's like, well, you might not like this, but Freddie's dead. And we were like, wait, what? And he said, yeah. And then we found out that he was campaigning to be killed by Darth Vader. Don't you want to hang out with us? What are you doing, dude? And also who like when I saw the Ghost in Rogue One, I too felt like that was a life insurance policy for my character.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to die here. So here's Freddie, like, what actor wants their character to die? That's like bananas to me. But to each his own. And but he explained that he wanted to put his death in the middle of the season so that he could illustrate for the fans what grieving is like, and that we can deal with life's losses together as a family. And, because we could have had that happen as a season finale, but he very much wanted to, because there are a lot of kids who watch this show. That's a bit of an adult plot point, but we all do have to deal with the disappointments in life and loss and betrayal and how we grow from that and grow stronger. I thought it was really cool that he made that choice. And so we sort of found out in that moment, and it was kind of a bummer. And I had no idea, because the animation isn't something I saw until you guys saw it. I didn't realize, one, he had a mullet. I was like, love the hairdo.
So bad.
All day. I was like, my man, your hair. Yes. Texting him like, dude, must cut your hair. Just like
he's a blind guy with a rock. He's doing the best he can.
Dude, he looked so good. I just loved it. I thought from beginning to end, it was just poetic. It was spiritual. I was sobbing. Come on, dude, please. It was next level. Anyway, so it all worked out well. But there were sometimes we were not given certain pages before we recorded them. And we were told verbally what was going on. And it was, pivotal things like that they didn't want leaked or but it wasn't like they were trying to not prepare us. I think they were just trying to keep it hush hush. And I think he also probably wanted the energy in the record to reflect our shock as well.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely some authenticity to that.
Yeah. It's a kid show like all Star Wars, right? So even though we as the audience know that A New Hope, Obi-Wan's the only one left really, and there shouldn't be any Jedi. They can always be off world, they could be out somewhere else. But in the back of my minds, all of us were thinking Kanan has to die before the end of the series. But then you get into it and it's like, well, I don't want it to be true. And then you watch it happen and you're like, oh, this is what was meant to happen. Like this was so beautiful the way it was done. But
100%.
Yeah, it was the right decision, even though it hurt in that moment. But everyone handled it beautifully. And I thought your performance as Hera dealing with that grief in the following episode was just heartbreaking, but amazing.
Yeah.
Like
when Chopper holds her
Emmy
hand.
clip, like, you got to put that in the reel. That's the
Yeah.
Well, that's also such a huge emotional, like, because Jedi Knight, Hera is literally drugged. It definitely changes your performance. Like that changes, maybe the Hera voice and the performance that's like the status quo for you. And now you have her just in a completely different environment under the influence of these torture drugs.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a hard couple episodes to watch. I'm glad I didn't watch those at work. Watched a lot of Rebels at work, and I'm glad I didn't have to watch those sitting backstage at Hollywood Studios because messy.
Intense. It's intense.
Yeah. So what do you hope? We've kind of touched on this at the beginning of our talk, but kind of bringing it back full circle to knowing sort of what Freddie wanted for Kanan. What do you really want for Hera? Like what's the bucket list that you have for Hera, for either in Ahsoka or in a book coming out perhaps, or another video game or any other type of media?
Well, she was kind of the space mom to this chosen family. I'm really curious how things go with her actual son. Know more about that, because while she was a mother figure, I would love to know specifically how Jason embodies some of her virtue. Because it could go a million different ways at her. I'd love to know more about their history.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited for is, this kid comes from some pretty incredible lineage, and there's definitely going to be some pretty incredible story that happens there, whether he's force sensitive or not.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to know, does he become a Jedi? Does he Tales? Like, how's this going to go, guys? Yeah.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Does he meet Grogu or Rey?
Does he meet Grogu?
Or Luke,
right?
Or anyone?
Sure.
That could be really exciting. He's an amazing pilot like Mom. Because Jedi's a pretty good pilot, and Jedi's are good pilots in general.
What if he goes like completely dark side?
Let's not manifest that.
I'm not manifesting, but all I'm saying is that anything is possible. And Kylo Ren was kind of a pain. I don't know.
Princess Leia's only son turned out dark side, and it's because of the power that comes with it, right? We saw it happen to Ezra multiple times, and we actually talked to Taylor quite a bit about that. And he's like, it's sort of a cheat code of like how to get things done. So much so that if you're playing Jedi Survivor right now, you can literally use the dark side as Cal Kestis, and it makes the game easier. And so you have to decide as the player, do you activate dark side to get through this particular challenge? I know. I was losing my mind when I found that out. And I was like, girl, I'm going to dark summon my way through from like straight through the game. I was like, I could beat this thing in 20 minutes.
Oh, no. Yeah. Wow.
makes it a really short game there, Mark Van Olen.
Yeah. No, I know. But like, how fun is that, right? That, you know, they're asking you the philosophical question of Star Wars. Like, what do you do with power? Like, how would you wield it? How would you win? How would you choose to behave in this circumstance when you have these options? So, and I always think Hera is the North Star. She makes the right decisions. Like, I follow what, you know, when we say like, what would Hera Syndulla do? We really mean it. She always makes the right decision, and not some like, sort of grandiose, like, this is for the greater good. She's always making the in the moment, like, she cares about people, you know.
Right. She's so focused. She inspires me for sure.
That's amazing. Do you have any, you already sort of gave your wishes for Hera. Do you have any hope for Star Wars in the future, like something specific you want to see? And by the way, that'll be I think that's going to be our last question for the night, because we're at just about a time. And unless anyone has like a follow-up question to that from, but we're just wondering what you're looking most forward to in Star Wars coming up. Obviously, we know you're excited about Ahsoka.
I'm thrilled for Ahsoka. I'm also, there's another season of Andor coming, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, there sure is.
100% all over that. Any Star Wars content, I am thrilled to witness. So all of it. I want all of it. Yeah, I mean, I specifically can't wait for Ahsoka. I am thrilled to see that there's more Andor, but anything Star Wars, you've got my vote. I'll be there with bells on, you know, the night it you know, is available. Always. That's why I'm screaming and my neighbors think I'm nuts.
We're right there with you. I have to know, what was your favorite episode of Rebels to record, whether it was the most fun or the most challenging? What was your absolute favorite to be involved with?
One that really sticks out for me is when she flies the B-wing and she explains why flight means so much to her. And I've said this in other interviews, but my dad is a pilot.
Wow.
And when he retired, I dared him to get a pilot's license. And he not only got a pilot's license, but he got an open cockpit biplane and does aerobatics and all this kind of stuff, and had like a full-blown, he had a full-blown spiritual awakening as a result of this new hobby and a whole new group of friends. He has an airport hangar. It's like his cave. You know? And he's like Snoopy. He's got the goggles and you know, but when he talks about flight, it was very much what she was saying, that, you know, from up there, you know, when things are at their worst, I'm at my best, or whatever. You know, she has a bunch of really profound things that she says. And I dedicated that to my dad. So it meant a lot to me. And I sent him a video clip of that. And he was like, pal, that means the world to me. You know,
that's so sweet.
Yeah. Dad, and I respect his ability to challenge and excel like he does. So not really in a hurry to put a parachute on. And you know, when he first got his pilot's license, I didn't have to wear a parachute, and I was sort of keenly unaware of the possible outcome. I mean, it was easier to but when he's like, well, pal, now you need to wear the parachute. I was like,
no.
Yeah, Dad, that's a little too life's weird enough. I don't know. And he's like, it'll save your life, pal. And I'm like, at that point, I don't know if I really want to see how that's gonna go.
I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you go? You go. I'm good. Yeah.
But, life is short, but also maybe no.
Yeah.
It sounds exhilarating,
but I have a profound respect for that and that sort of way of life that most pilots seem to embody. The friends that he made similarly have a reverence for it, and you have to be so meticulous and detail oriented, or you know, the stakes are very high. And you know, for Hera to be so talented in that way, you know, I'm easily distracted, so I don't know if I'd make the best pilot in the world, but you know,
there's no way.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
important to be self-aware.
Yeah, I would like
you're not a pilot,
task.
but you play one on TV.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, I adore you, and I hope that if I'm in Orlando, we'll have to figure something out. And if you do come to San Diego, let's all grab a bite or do something, or let me know where you're meeting up.
Listen, absolutely. Vanessa, Batu on me. I'll take you to Oga's. Come on, we'll have a great time.
Anyone else who's there, and we'll let's go.
Yeah, I love it. I will text you all the details once we sort out San Diego, and you keep us posted. If you're in New York, that's my hometown, so we will party.
And I'm on the East Coast as well, so I usually make it to New York.
Coming in for New York Comic Con.
Yes, vadertots.gov. Let's go.
Yes, excellent. We have a couple of quick things to plug. One, first is go to all of Vanessa Marshall's social media accounts to keep up with her very busy schedule. She is at ICC. She has the Metal Gear Solid charity event coming up in July, which we're going to put links to everything on. We'll also share that in the Facebook group. So all of our almost 59,000 members, we keep growing, which is great. 59,000 members will see those details, and check out her Twitch channel, which we'll add in here as well. Very excited to hear you have a Twitch.
Well, caveat, I had a launch and realized that I have to hardwire things and this and that. I have a tech person coming tomorrow, actually, this lovely gentleman who is going to get me ready for prime time so that there won't be as many glitches as I've had previously. And once that gets going, I plan on playing all the video games that I'm in, Caretaker in Midnight Suns, and Shiva in Mortal Kombat, Black Canary in Injustice 2, and all sorts of fun stuff. It's going to be hilarious. So
cool.
If you go there now, if you go there now, it's remarkably bare because all the content from when I tried to launch is now no longer there. It looks like she has a Twitch channel. This is not.
No worries.
But don't worry.
We'll do a countdown for you.
The next couple weeks, it's going to be hilarious. So.
Excellent. Look, I'm a terrible gamer. When you're ready to do Super Mario World, you let me know. Like that's my jam. That's as good as it gets for me. 2D side scrolling.
I love it. I love it.
So we'll make sure we check out all your channels and promote all your appearances. And then separately, the ladies on our channel are launching a show about the women of Star Wars. So I know, it's very exciting.
Just a little thing.
A twice a month show.
Great. Well, if you need any more female Star Wars women, let me know.
Oh yeah,
listen, Vanessa, let's party. Let's party.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
That'd be
so
much fun.
They're going to be the on-air talent, and I'll be the guy behind the scenes producing. So it's still going to be the trio of us making great things happen, because the women of Star Wars are super important and more important than ever. And they're leading the content. I mean, who's holding up the franchise right now next to Mando? It's Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. And Rey is getting her own movie as well. So it is a great time to be, I think, a woman in Star Wars and a woman who likes Star Wars. So we're going to be doing a whole program around that, which is very exciting. So everyone tune into. Thank you, Vanessa, for being here.
Yes,
thank you so much. We loved having you.
Big hugs. Thank you.
Yes. Great seeing you. For everyone else, tune in on Thursday for the watch along with Empire Strikes Back. Check us back out next Monday for another episode of Rebels Revisited. And of course, this summer is all about Summer of Ahsoka. So we'll be keeping you updated on our programming for that. And until then, we always sign off with "May the Force be with you." So we would love for you to say that to the group.
May the Force be with you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night. Thank you.